Okay.
That's actually my fault. Okay, folks, we are live officially
Oh
on
shit.
the yeah, we are we are live officially on the YouTube channel, Facebook page, Instagram, Twitter,
uh
and Twitch. So yeah, my that's my bad. That's my bad.
no
But
worries, man.
we were just talking versus Tyrese and Tank, and we both
I'm
think Tank
Maestro
is gonna
Styles, man.
edge it
If
out.
you this is your first time watching, this is Maestro Styles and that's Trey Frazier.
Ah, oh man,
Welcome
wow.
to the Barbershop Sports Talk podcast, man, where we talk weekly sports events and you know, and we get into that and we get into that bag, where we talk about the NBA, the football sometimes, and
Yeah.
sometimes
A little bit of music every now and then.
sometimes we'll talk about some music, man. Before I realized we weren't recording at all, I was talking about the verses on Thursday, and I'm excited for it. I can't wait to get into a little vibe. Tank versus Tyrese, but I am taking Tank. I guess to kind of sum it up, because I ain't really mean that to become a thing, but I'm definitely taking Tank to win.
Yeah. And you kind of alluded to it, when we thought we were live, but Tyrese definitely has the bigger records, but the songwriting aspect of Tank, I think, is gonna edge out toward the middle part, song number 13, number 14, and I think Tank will kind of edge him out there. So, but I do hope that Tyrese, while he's got some features and some, really good features, that he brings some of these, people out. The Brats,
Yeah,
bring them.
Chingy. He gonna bring out Chingy.
Yeah, yeah, bring Tank out. Yeah, that was a big record.
I
That was a big record back then.
yeah yeah.
Bring
I
it out.
did. I don't pretend to follow Chingy's career like as an artist, but that was definitely by far the best song he put out that I heard. So
Chingy?
yeah,
Okay. I would say on a
yeah.
mainstream level, yes. But right there, like,
Well, the biggest record is right there, but I'm just talking about my personal favorite.
oh,
Yeah,
okay,
yeah, because I
okay,
don't listen to Shingy. I don't listen to Shingy outside of what he came out with. So
okay. Yeah,
like
right. Me
released.
either.
Yeah, yeah.
It was what, the two albums, and that was it for me. So
Shit, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know them songs.
not the B.
Like,
Not. I don't know a lot of B side Chingy joints. Like,
yeah, I don't know any of them.
like
Let
you
me be
give me
clear.
the. Even the remix when they had Young Guns on there, like,
I don't know
like,
any Chingy songs outside of the singles he put out. Let me be very
yeah.
clear about that.
Yeah, for real. But hey, Tyrese, bring out the big guns in terms of them features that was, banging back then. So shout out to both of those gentlemen. That I think that's gonna be a good show. That
Me
definitely gonna be
too.
a good show. But
I'm gonna try to stay up.
yeah, all right, no doubt, no doubt. And that sounded real crazy, by the way. So
Yeah,
pause
pause
on that.
for
Pause on
sure.
that. But yo, I was took a trip to New York over the weekend, man. Shout out to my pops and my in-laws and everybody. I just happened to take the kids to the Bronx, picked up pops, whatever. Like, we didn't have really no like destination or something like that. It was like late Saturday evening. Kids, wanted to see their pops, their grandpops and stuff. So, drove to the Bronx, picked them up, and we just kind of rode around, uptown for about maybe 45 minutes, to an hour, just talking and stuff like that, right? So drove past Yankee Stadium, as I was circling back to, drop them off. And it got me to thinking, because the Jay-Z concert is July 10th and 11th, I believe. I get those dates right. 30th anniversary of Reasonable Doubt, 25th anniversary of the Blueprint
Yep.
album. Um, Look, shout out to my BK fam. And, I've been seeing a lot of people not happy about the venue that he chose, to, do these shows. People been saying, hey man, you could have did that at Barclays or whatever. And, it's Brooklyn, it's that whole thing. So I kind of understand, where they were coming from. But and I was raised in Brooklyn, but
Yeah.
Yankee Stadium's Yankee Stadium, dog. Like,
Yeah.
it's just the iconic name. I mean, the stadium is almost 20 years old. So it's not the old building, but just the name Yankee Stadium just sings louder than Barclays Center. I'm sorry. Like this is the matter of fact, this is the perfect venue. I mean, for a lot of reasons,
Hmm.
summertime, outside, like it's perfect. So
Yeah, yeah. I don't have much to add to that. Yeah, that's definitely the spot. Like who, again, and no shade to Barclays, and 20 years, 15 years down the line, maybe it'll be regarded as the quote unquote Brooklyn place to perform. But as far as New York is Yankee Stadium and obviously Madison Square Garden
that's
and
it.
Yankee Stadium. Those
That's
are the
it.
those are the venues, the prime venues if you act like that. So I mean,
Yeah,
just
yeah,
is what
for
it is.
sure. And he just added a third show,
I
which I
didn't
think
know
is going to
that.
be that Sunday. Yeah. It's called Extra Innings, kind of dealing with the baseball theme there. So I'm curious what that selection of music on that day is going to be like.
Yeah.
So
I
we'll
don't
see.
know, but shout out to Jay-Z. No ticket that I could afford. So
Much deserved. I checked the prices, so $600 for
yeah,
nosebleed seats.
yeah. I said no ticket I can afford.
I've
Or
been,
let
but
me say no ticket that I'm willing to pay for.
mhm. Yeah, yeah. Times is just crazy. Even though it's sold out, like I mean, as expected, right? Like
Mm.
you, you
Well, the
know,
bots got that. I mean, you might still be able to get a ticket. The bots got that. So
yeah, yeah. Good point. Yeah, that's a good point. With them fees, of
yeah,
course, they gotta make their money off of that. But yeah, man, shout out to Jay Z,
yeah.
man. I
Nah, for
mean,
sure, for
congrats.
sure.
That's a huge. That's gonna be a big deal this summer, man. Like
Yeah.
I mean, that goes beyond what Summer Jam be doing every summer. Like that right there, that event is the Summer Jam in New York.
Hmm.
So
For sure,
shout
for
out, shout
sure.
out. Somebody got paid this week, man.
Yeah.
Big contract. JSN, better known as Jaxon Smith-Njigba, 4 years, $168 million, the highest paid wide receiver in the NFL. It's an average of about 42 mil per year.
Yep.
He deserved it, man. It came at the right time. Going back to the Kenneth Walker, I guess not release, but like just kind of letting him walk and kind of getting his own money, whatever. You kind of figured that this was something that was going to be done down the road here, but it got done, this off season. So, congrats to JSN. It's this is going to mean a lot for not just him, but you got some wide receivers that are kind of coming up here, like George Pickens. What does
Puka
that do for
Nakua.
George Pickens? Puka Nakua, yeah, and hell, I'll say this, Jamar Chase, because Jamar Chase might just be like, hey, like we ain't been really winning all that much, but I'm the best thing you got. Like you got to come up off that bread. So
Hmm.
he might just go about it that way, but it sets up for George Pickens, Puka Nakua, and particularly the George Pickens situation because you and I we talked about it a few weeks back, and obviously he's on the tag, which is it 30?
34, 34, 35, something like that.
34, 35. Okay. So, there's that. I think with this JSN deal now, I'm leaning more towards that it's gonna be likely that Cowboys let him play on this deal, and then after that, he's gonna go, get his money elsewhere.
Yeah. Yeah, especially if he have a good season this year. If
Hmm.
he has a similar season to last year or
Yeah.
better this year, he was already in that $40 million range in my opinion,
Hmm.
but definitely he's going to be in that $40 million range if he puts together two good seasons in a row. So I agree with you 100%. Do you think that because JSN he's done it he's been this good for two years, or would you say this was his coming out party this year? I
This
would
year
say
was
this is
certainly
his
his
coming
coming
his
out
coming
party.
out party, right?
For sure. For
Yeah.
sure.
So he gets paid on his coming out party, and it's the highest money. But Puka Nakua, you got to assume maybe more so, maybe even more so than George Pickens. Puka Nakua is going to be that next market setter. Like he's going to be the highest paid wide receiver come contract time. If it's not going to be done this year, then definitely next year. Puka
Yeah.
Nakua is going to be that guy that takes this thing to the 45, 40s, that 45 to
Maybe just
47.
hitting that 50. Maybe not quite hitting
Yeah,
it, but
yeah,
like
but like right, yeah,
just
like right
there.
there. Yeah,
48. Like I could see 48
right,
as
right.
the
You got to
number.
assume he's going to be that next guy, and I don't think I don't think George Pickens is going to hit that number. I just know that he's going to be in that realm based off of. I mean, because is him that's in that $40 million. Not him. Who just got it? JSN just got it, and I think there's a Jamar Chase is getting that
Jamar
$40 million.
Chase
I
is
think
at
those are only
40.
two wide receivers that are getting upward of $40 million.
Yeah. I don't know what Justin Jefferson's
He
situation
might
is.
right. He might be right at $40 million. I saw a graphic on it earlier today. I think he might be
Okay.
right at $40 million.
Yeah.
And then under him was somebody, and then DK Metcalf was like fifth highest paid wide receiver in the league.
Hmm.
So I saying all that to say is that yeah, definitely George Pickens is probably going to hit that $40 million, probably right at it.
Yeah.
Maybe a little under, maybe a little over, but he's going to be right there. But
Hmm.
Puka Nakua, if he gets his deal done, it's definitely going to be he's definitely going to be the highest paid. And like I said, with the potential to hit, like you said, like for max $48 million, and then
Hmm.
and then that is going to emphatically kind of reset the market. Like I think every receiver after that, nobody's
Yeah.
asking for under 41, 42.
Right. 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 And look, not for nothing. And I don't want to put this guy with this group of receivers that we just talked about. Zay Flowers, I just wonder because he's been good for the Ravens, he's been good for us, like he's been good for the Ravens. I just wonder if what kind of market is going to be for him if he ever hits it. Now, the smart thing to do would be to just lock him up right now, like just get him under a very lucrative extension deal type of a thing. But I just wonder, like, if he hits the market, what what kind of value do teams think he's worth?
I don't mean no harm. This ain't Ravens hate. Um, he's not a $40 million receiver based on what he's put on tape.
I agree
He's
with
not a
you.
40 million.
I
Okay, yeah,
I,
yeah, yeah,
I
yeah,
I
yeah.
agree with you. I'm just, because we've done this with quarterbacks, and we talk about when it's your time, it's your time. When it's the market at the
Yeah,
time, that's when
right.
you cash in. I'm just curious as a Ravens fan who's got a receiver who I think is a good receiver, but $40 million, he's
And
not worth that to me.
by all means, let me be clear. If he
Hmm.
negotiates $40 million, get your money, black man.
Oh, no doubt,
Yeah, let me be clear
no
on that.
doubt, yeah,
But I
no
don't think
doubt.
his market. I don't think what he's put on the field suggests that he would be a $40 million wide receiver by no stretch of the imagination. Because we don't rank him as a top 10,
Yeah, it's like I
15.
said, he's not in that group of guys. Like,
Yeah,
I wanted to preface that before I made the comment. Like, he's not in that group. He's not in that room with those guys. But
yeah. You ain't got to
when,
worry. You ain't gonna worry about. You ain't got to worry about losing Zay
well, I'm
Flowers
not
because of
worried
money.
about. Yeah, right. Like, I'm not worried like that they're gonna break the bank for him. Like that part, I'm not worried about. Like, I would hate to lose him, but I'm not paying you $40 million a year. Let somebody like the Jets do it, or the Colts do it. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? Like,
yeah.
let one of them teams do it if they think they got their guy at QB. But
Yeah, yeah, nah, for sure. Um, so no, let's not come off of JSN. I had a
yeah.
shady Ravens comment, but I hold it for later on in the show. It's not nothing crazy.
Mhm.
Um, So I saw shout out to Da. I was looking at Da's something he posted on Instagram today,
Hmm.
and where he was, essentially JSN is making 42, the the highest paid wide receiver. I mean, highest paid running back.
Yep.
Saquon Barkley is at 20 mil. So we're talking about a $20 million, a $20 million gap
Yeah.
between the highest paid wide receiver and the highest paid running back.
Yeah.
And he was essentially leading to, like the whole union and, running backs need to start a union and running backs are being undervalued. Let's get somebody into uh, good luck replacing those types of running backs, meaning the Saquon Barkleys and
Yep.
the Derrick Henrys, the Bijan Robinsons. Like, good luck replacing those guys if they were to decide to try to take some type of action
Yep.
because of how they are being underpaid.
Hmm.
I will say this. $20 million is a crazy gap between running back and wide receiver. I would, I think we agree there. But again, man, me and you was here for the Ty Montgomerys in Baltimore, and the
Hmm.
running back turn wide receiver. We were here for Mark Ingram's, and no shade, but he was an older
Back
running
end.
back.
Back
Yeah, he
end.
was.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, older
Was good
running
though.
back.
Like
But
that one
that's
year
my
was
point.
good. Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
Hmm.
So I guess what I'm like, it's like, bruh, like, I'm not saying that running back shouldn't be paid a little closer to wide receivers, but obviously it's a passing league.
Yep.
Obviously, and Da did mention this. Obviously, the running back is a more taxing position to play.
Yep.
Um, and also, if you're not a receiving running back, if you're not putting up all-purpose yards, it's
Hmm.
really, really, really hard to justify paying, closer to the wide receiver end than to the running back end. I mean, to where they at now. Like that it's hard to close that gap if
Hmm.
you're not uh, the best running back in the league or a running back that's able to catch and run like a Jahmyr Gibbs. Like,
Yeah.
I think Jahmyr Gibbs is going to be the closest to
Hmm.
close that gap, maybe even than Saquon
Yeah.
Barkley was, because of he does both.
How they use
And
him in Detroit. Yeah.
right, and Bijan Robinson. I'm sorry, Bijan Robinson. He's going to be in
Him
that
too.
conversation too. Yeah, he's going
Him
to be in that
too.
conversation too.
Hmm.
But Jahmyr Gibbs, mainly because Jahmyr Gibbs has been successful. I mean, the team has been successful. So,
Yeah.
there's that. But I think I guess what are your thoughts? I mean, are we still on this whole train where the running backs are still being grossly underpaid?
Yes, we are. Saquon was the latest to get a bigger deal. What, $22 million a year,
20
something
a
like
year.
that.
20 a year.
And that was what, a couple of seasons ago at this point now,
I thought that
right?
was last season.
Well, the Eagles signed him the year they went to the Super Bowl. So that was
Right.
2024. And then
They gave him the
they just
contract.
played. Oh, they gave him an extension? Is that what you're saying?
They gave him a raise for certain, because he
A
didn't come
raise.
in. He didn't
Okay.
come into Philly making 20 million.
Okay. Oh yeah, you're right. That's right.
Yeah,
That's right. That's right. Yeah.
he was making like
They
13, I think.
It was a yeah, because it was
1 year,
definitely
13. It
it
was
was
a one
definitely a
year
free
deal.
agent signing. That's
It
right.
was a one
Yes,
year deal, $13 million.
that's right. That's right.
Yeah,
Yeah, and they, he
and then
was the
they
game changer, got the championship, and then they
did the
gave him a
did the
raise
little
after that.
did the little backwards jump in Jacksonville,
Yep, iconic.
and yeah,
Yes,
and
yeah.
there we are, $20 million a year.
There you go. There you go. So yeah, we're still in that era where running backs are underpaid. I was thinking about this as you was talking. So that gap of $20 million between highest paid receiver and highest paid back. How much you think that gap should be? Just
I was going to ask you the same exact question, because
hmm
again, Um, if okay, a couple of running backs are exempt from this comp. Well, I can't even really say exempt. Jonathan Taylor,
Mm-hmm.
the running backs I'm thinking about are like Jonathan Taylor,
Mm-hmm.
Bijan Robinson, Christian McCaffrey, Derrick
Yeah,
Henry,
can't forget him. Yeah.
Jameer Gibbs, like those guys. So like
Mm-hmm.
I can't imagine paying Jonathan Taylor as much as I paid Jameer Gibbs just because of age,
Right.
injuries, those
And
types of things.
just to throw this as an aside, and I'm not going to put this guy with that group of names you just named, but ETN got the 4-year, $52 million deal, which is
But
on
that don't
average
even
13
right.
million a
Yeah.
year. So it's almost as if, but it kind of supports my point of we're still at this age where the running back is devalued, or you could say there's not enough maybe average running backs that's willing to push that market up the way wide receivers have been able to. Because remember the Christian Kirk contract from a few years ago, that seemed like an overpay for a wide receiver of his stature at that time.
Right. Right. It still
We don't
feels that
have,
way.
yeah, absolutely. We can't say that
There's
about
no
ETN,
overpaid
right?
running.
Right. Like we can't even say that about ETN. I think that's a great contract that
Right.
the Saints signed, to get ETN out of free agency. So we are still in this era where the running back is devalued, and it's going to take another Zoom call the way Saquon Barkley did it a couple seasons ago to gather all these guys, because like you said, Jameer Gibbs is coming up next, Bijan Robinson is going to be coming up next, and the way that those two teams utilize those guys, I mean, I said it a few months back, like Bijan Robinson has MVP talent. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like you're not gonna let that guy walk.
Yeah, but you also not going to pay him like again,
Mhm,
like because let's compare those two backs, Jameer Gibbs and Bijan Robinson.
mhm.
Like I don't know who you would consider more talented, but it's clear who's performing better on the field.
Yeah.
And I get all of it is not Bijan Robinson's fault. We're just talking about product on the field.
Yep.
The only running back that I could really see closing the gap significantly,
Mhm,
and correct me if you hear another name, is closing that gap significantly is Jameer Gibbs. And
mhm,
even if he was the person to close that gap, if Saquon is getting 20 and you're asking
mhm.
me to put a price on it,
Yeah.
25 for Jameer Gibbs a year?
Whew. I'd say 22. I'm gonna go 22
Hmm.
because that's still 2 million more than Saquon. Like,
Yeah, but I'm talking about. I guess that's a reasonable contract. What you're saying. I'm just
mhm.
talking about. I like what
What
would
would be
make
an
us.
overpay? What would be an overpay for
No,
a
no,
running
not
back?
even that. Because I don't think
Okay.
$25 million would be an overpay for a Jameer Gibbs.
Okay.
Now, would it be for Bijan Robinson just based on what he put on the field? I'd have to see it and like kind of process it.
Mhm.
But Jameer Gibbs, again, what he's put on the field,
Yeah.
$25 million seems like a reasonable contract, and but that would also reset the market for the people up under him, like
Yeah.
Bijan Robinson for
Absolutely.
that.
Absolutely.
Because Bijan Robinson, if he gets a deal right now, do you think he would be the highest paid running back in the league?
Mm,
I would say no.
ooh, you say no? If they gave him an extension right now, no.
Mm-hmm.
I
Right.
would say no just because of the deal Etienne got in New Orleans. And I
But I
think
don't.
and I think
But
the
see,
and I think the Falcons see, but this is the business side of it. The Falcons at the table are gonna say, well, ETN, and look, ETN is not a better back than Bijan Robinson. Let's clear that up.
and not putting the
Um,
comparable numbers up, by the way.
right, right. But that's still $13 million a year for Travis Etienne. That's 13. That's seven below what the highest paid guy is getting paid right now.
Exactly.
So
Exactly.
if they were to give him an extension right now, I could see 17. I'll go
Mm.
17. Maybe
Right.
not
Okay.
hit the 20. I would go
Okay.
17.
So we kind of saying the same thing. there
Mm-hmm.
are no like if all the running backs that could possibly be due for a contract extension this year,
Mm-hmm.
the only person that's capable of possibly getting past 20 is
Mm-hmm.
Jahmyr Gibbs. I mean, Christian McCaffrey is older with injuries, but
Yep.
he does both things.
Yep.
I know Derrick Henry got one last year, but
Last year. Yep.
yeah, but
Got one. Got one last year.
what he got it up? What he get up to $12 million? I thought it
I
was
think it
4 years,
was. I thought it
48.
was. I thought it was 4 years, 48. Okay, I was thinking
That's what
more
I
like
thought.
13. I was thinking more like
Okay,
13,
I mean,
but
but we
yeah,
still kind of saying
we're
the same
close.
thing.
We're
Yeah, but we
close.
still
Yep.
saying the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
And which, by the way, would be crazy if he getting 13 and Travis Etienne is getting 13. That's not the same.
Yeah.
Those aren't the same backs.
No, they're not.
Even at
They're,
32, even
they're
at
def
32, those
they're
aren't the same
they're definitely
backs.
not. But I mean, you compare Derek's contract to Saquon's contract. Now there's that. There's the gap. But if you want to say the Super Bowl is what took the
Which
value of the
which you
contract over,
which you are, which
I
you
won't
are.
argue that. I won't. I
Yeah,
won't argue that.
even though he didn't do much in that Super Bowl, but yeah, cause yeah, I mean that is exactly what they would say. They would say Super Bowl winning running back,
Hmm.
almost broke the record, the Russian record, and catches out the backfield,
Yeah.
marketing press. He's the Madden cover. They had to make a brand new move in
Yep.
Madden. You know what I'm saying,
Hmm.
because of this dude. Like
Yeah. Yeah. Facts.
like them. Like they had to give him that kind of money for the season he had. They had to. Philly did.
Yeah.
So,
No doubt.
like I said, but the only person closer to that is Slim in Detroit. But the problem is, but
Hmm.
here's the problem though. And
Yeah.
and it just kind of came to me. And I know we were supposed to be talking about wide receivers and the gap between running backs and wide receivers. But here's the problem with even Gibbs in this situation.
Yeah.
As good as he's been,
Hmm.
nothing in the playoffs. Like no, like he don't have no. The production is there. Let's be clear, production is there. But
The highlights,
when you
no.
compare it to Saquon Barkley's
Yeah.
resume when he got his contract,
Right. Right.
like that contract, like we talking about Saquon Barkley, who, um, you know, that thing kind of took him out of the football realm for a
Yeah.
week. You know what
Saquon
I'm
was an
saying?
MVP. Yeah, Saquon was an MVP candidate. Like there were conversations about him potentially being, the next running back to win the award. And
Saquon Barkley was going viral that was going that week. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying? Like
yeah, yeah. Jahmyr Gibbs, and I don't want to undersell what he means to
at
Detroit. Like he
all,
means a
or,
lot. Like
or to the league.
right, yeah, exactly. Like he does both things really well. Like the athleticism when you watch the guy, like forget the production, just the moves he makes. Like when he makes guys miss in the field, like he's that athletic. And Bijan, to me, from an athletic standpoint, is in that same conversation. But $25 million for Jahmyr Gibbs, yeah, that could sound like an overpay when it's time for that
Okay.
thing to really happen. It does sound like it based on what you just said about what Derek's making versus what Saquon's making.
And the problem is, and because Da was saying something to the effect of, yeah, so we could let these, good luck letting these lesser than, and he didn't say it that way, but
Yeah.
these running backs with that aren't the those names we talked about,
Hmm.
good luck having them on your team and getting production. Well, the problem is that some of these running backs are getting pretty good production. Not as and it's not Jahmyr Gibbs statistics, but you don't necessarily need, like, if you are the Chicago Bears
Hmm.
and they have some decent backs in Chicago. You don't need him to have 1,600, 1,700 rushing yards in a season
Hmm.
because it's not going to be a balanced attack no way. You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't, when you took, I mean, I know Pittsburgh ain't the best example, but we had two, back committee guys, and we got kind of, we weren't a good rushing team by any stretch of the imagination, but we were just I don't want to use Pittsburgh because now I just got triggered because Pittsburgh wasn't a good offensive team in my personal opinion.
Bring
Let's
it
use a
back. Bring it
better.
back.
Yeah. Let's use an actual good position. Kenneth Walker is a great example. Kenneth Walker is a great example of a running back who wasn't the top of the tops, but was good enough to get them to the Super Bowl with a good running attack. Obviously, Charbonnet had something to say about it throughout, and then have the game he had in the Super Bowl,
Yeah.
and he's not going to sniff $20 million a year.
Right. He got 3 years and 43.
43,
So
yeah,
that's like 13-ish. No, a little more than that. That's
it's like
about
14,
14, little above
14, yeah.
14. Yeah.
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 So, but the point is that he's not going to like the Saquon Barkley had to literally have a record year on and off the field. Like be the quote unquote guy, make the Madden cover, all the things.
Yep.
In 1 year, he had to do it all in 1
He
year to
did
get that contract.
everything that year.
Exactly, to get
And I ain't talking about just the field stuff. I'm talking about like off the field too.
Yeah, the
Like,
Campbell soup and like he
yeah,
was doing everything to get that
going
$20 million.
going on golf courses with Trump and all this stuff. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, like he was doing everything, dog.
So it's gonna be tough. It's gonna be tough because it's gonna be tough. And I know to the running backs, I'm sorry. I truly am for y'all pockets. But it's that gap ain't getting closed no time soon.
Yeah, and it's unfortunate, man. I was actually just looking up offensive positions and what like their highest paid positions are. So I was looking up highest paid left tackle, right?
Yeah.
And Trent Williams came up,
Mm-hmm.
and his current deal is $82 million over the course of 3 years. So you're talking what, 27-ish, maybe like $27 million a year for the highest paid left tackle. And left tackle is important, and it's most likely more important than the running back, you would say too. So to answer your question about how close that gap should be between wide receiver and running back, I don't know that it's going to get any closer just because of the other positions on offense who are getting the money. Like the left tackles are getting the money. Wide receivers, quarterbacks, they're getting the money.
The disrespect to skill positions is crazy, and I'm cool. Like shout out,
Yeah.
I ain't never mad at a guy in the trenches getting that kind of money. Like let me be clear, and I get it. You protect the quarterback's blind side if they right-handed. Like I get the importance of the left tackle.
Yeah.
In reference to the entire offense, meaning your job is to protect our most expensive asset. So maybe that's why they are maybe being valued higher than running backs. But with that being said, I come from the era where skill positions are skill positions. So I'm not saying left tackles don't deserve or shouldn't get maybe more money than the right tackle, depending on what hand your quarterback throw with. But but I can't see in a world, and again, there's no shade to Trent Williams, get your money, black man. I can't see in no world where it's okay to pay a guy in the trenches more than a skill position, meaning running back, wide receiver, quarterback, tight end.
Yeah,
and
I think at best, if you're in the running back position, 20. Now that I think about it too, like we was just talking values and stuff, but we're talking about left tackle, the importance of it, but he's also important to how the running back is, able to play also, opening up them gaps, opening up the holes and stuff like that.
But left tackle specifically
primarily is to protect the blind side. I get that. That's their primary goal on the offensive line, but they also help the running backs too.
Sure, but then that's the case. But if that's the case, then you also got to pay the right tackle. And then if you pay the right tackle, then the guard's going to have something to say because it's like we do the same thing that the left and right tackle do. You know what I'm saying? Like, and it's not to say that again, the left tackle got to deal with the pass rushers, the best pass, and
Mm-hmm.
sometimes the best pass rushers in the league.
Yep.
And unless you Pittsburgh, because we put T.J. Watt on the other side, but would that be so? It's just like that's tough to deal with. That, and if you deal with that at a high level, you should be paid at a high level. I just can't
Yeah.
fathom him making more money than Saquon Barkley being okay because and again, this is no shade to the trenches. I understand the
Mm-hmm.
game is won in the trenches. I totally understand that. But if that's the case, if that's truly the case,
Right.
then the trenches should be getting paid more money than all these niggas outside of the quarterback who has to touch the ball every single play.
No, that's true. No,
If
that's
that's the
definitely true.
if we really like, what I'm saying, if the
That's
league
definitely
really
true.
believes what
And
they
you can't pay
say,
everybody. You
right?
can't pay everybody,
Well, and I'm
So
not even necessarily saying pay everybody top dollar. I'm just saying that the center is important. I mean, hell, if we're gonna say that, then the nose tackle on
mm-hmm.
defense is very, very important. You know what
Very,
I'm
very
saying?
important.
You know what I'm
Yep.
saying? So it's just if you really, really feel that way, and the nose, and the only thing you're gonna be able to say about nose tackles and people who play defensive tackle
Mm-hmm.
is generally they don't accrue a whole bunch of stats because they're right there. Generally they
Yeah.
don't get a whole bunch of sacks. Generally they don't get a whole bunch of tackles because their job is to clear the path for the linebackers. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So
Yeah.
it's so you could say, okay, well they don't get stats, but without them, linebackers have a hard day. And on the offensive side, without them, obviously quarterbacks, running backs have a hard day. And if the quarterback has a hard day, then the wide receivers are damn sure going to have a hard day. So it's
Mm-hmm.
just, so if we really, really, really mean what we say, that the trenches is the most important phase of the game,
Yeah.
then our pay scale is fucked up anyway.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, that's really where it starts at. It's about where, what positions get valued and how you structure that.
But
And
then ain't nobody gonna keep it real. Ain't nobody gonna keep it real. The NFL is gonna say, well, these skilled players give us the highlights. The skilled players are the reason why ESPN has
give
a
us the
top
clicks.
10.
They get
All
the
that, and
mhm.
that's why we pay the skilled players. But if that's the case,
Yep. They get the
last
deals.
time I
Yeah,
checked, that
they get the cover of Madden. They get all that
yeah,
stuff. Like
last time I checked,
you're not gonna see Trent Williams on the cover of Madden. You
yeah,
know what I'm
last time
saying?
I
Like
checked, I ain't never seen Trip Williams on a Sports Center top 10, but I seen Christian
yeah.
McCaffrey a few times.
Yeah, yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Barely. They don't get they don't get stats. The offensive line don't get stats. I mean, it's the trenches for real when they really talk about
Yeah,
what they do and the importance really like the importance of the offensive line. Like you can't you can't pay the quarterback all the money and you gotta makeshift offensive line. It's important. So
yeah.
it's important. But yeah,
I,
again,
I,
congrats to JSN.
I about
And
to say, I guess we're saying all this to say congratulations to
yeah,
JSN
yeah.
on
I
being a
said
high
it. I said it
spender.
at the top anyway.
Of
But
course we did, but
I knew that we would go down a rabbit hole of talking money that's not ours.
yeah, yeah, man. If I could just get a half a percent of some of that money, man,
Yeah, give me just give me 200,000. I'll be good.
I'll be alright for a couple of months.
Yeah, give me 200,000. I'll be straight. I'll be straight. Levante Davis announced his retirement
David,
after
Devontae David,
David. My
Tampa
fault.
Bay. Yeah, 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 yeah. No, that's my fault. I typed it wrong. You just read
My fault.
off the joint.
14 seasons in the league, man. Congrats on career. Hall of Fame player to you.
First ballot, no. But only not because he hasn't been good. He's been one of the better middle linebackers for the majority of his career.
Hmm.
Um, I just think there's other guys to put there, not necessarily at middle linebacker, but just people who need to make the hall. I
Yeah,
think there's going to be guys to put there before Levante David. And I know they try to focus on defensive players, but even if you talk about defensive players, um, you know, I don't think
yeah.
he's going to be
He's gonna
first
wait.
ballot. Yeah, I
He's
don't think he's
certainly
going to be first.
gonna wait.
Yeah,
Certainly gonna wait. Yeah, I was just looking up some numbers, man. Because I was trying to think of who else he played for, but every
Yeah.
season he's played in the league with the
Yeah.
Tampa Bay Buccaneers,
Yeah.
and it got me to thinking, like, is he a top 10 Buccaneer of all
Hmm.
time?
Hmm.
It's not because the
Let's try to.
Bucks have
Hey,
not
man.
had a lot of success,
You know what we like to
but
do, man. Let's try to ring
of
it up. Let's
course,
try to ring it
of
up.
course, of course,
Mike
man. Mike
Evans. Mike
Evans, Mike
Evans.
Evans.
Mike Allstott.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, how you feel about? I can't put Tom Brady there. I just can't do that. Like I can't do it.
See,
I can't do it, bruh.
it's
I
you
can't.
know
I
I
can't do it.
I understand why you can't do it, but boy, I mean, he came and he changed everything for them, bro. Like
Yeah.
he came
So we
in
gotta
and
put. So we gotta put Tom Brady
it's
there.
like it's like Kawhi. It's like Kawhi in Toronto. Like
Yeah.
you
Yeah. Okay. When you
you
put it like that. When you
you
put
gonna
it
put
like
him
that.
there. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Tom
He
Brady. Yeah.
changed.
All right. Tom Brady. All right.
You putting what's the running back? Doug Martin.
Work
You
done.
putting
Doug Martin. Rest in peace.
yeah, rest in peace.
Doug
Yeah,
Martin. I don't play. How long did he? How long was he in Tampa?
I thought he was in Tampa for like a good 8 seasons.
Okay.
Am
I was
I
thinking
wrong about
Warwick
that?
Dunn. I don't know. I was thinking
You
Warwick
said
Dunn.
work done, and
Yeah.
yes, he should be on that list.
Yeah.
He certainly should be.
Barber. That's
Rondé
five.
Barber, Derek Brooks.
Derek Brooks is six. Warren Sapp is
Mm-hmm.
seven.
Mm-hmm.
John Lynch is eight.
John Lynch. John Lynch. Yep. Yep.
Um,
You putting Doug Williams on there from
no,
the old days?
no, no shade,
No.
no.
Okay.
Um,
Okay. I know his
we're
highlight was with the Redskins. I know his highlight was there.
we said Derek Brooks, right?
We said Derek Brooks. Yes.
Okay. I mean, off the freestyle,
Yeah.
I
I
feel like
mean,
I'm missing
it
somebody.
sounds.
Yeah, I mean, he got to be nine or 10. I feel like we're missing somebody, but
Oh, he just retired. Gerald McCoy, right?
Gerald McCoy, he been retired for a while.
About a couple years, 3 years.
Yeah, Gerald McCoy. I mean, over Levante David, I'm gonna say no though.
Probably more, a little more longevity
Yeah, I think
than Gerald
Levante
McCoy.
David is a quote unquote better Buccaneer career wise than Gerald McCoy. I'm
Yeah.
confident in that. I'm confident in that. And again, it's off the freestyle. I ain't looked at nobody's stats right away.
Mm.
Yeah, Levante David is a top 10 Tampa Bay Buccaneer. I'm confident in that, even if it's like 9 or 10. And I don't know if we forgetting anybody. I really
Yeah, I do feel like we are missing somebody. He played 11 years in Tampa, Gerald McCoy. So I I do think Gerald McCoy is top 10 Buccaneer of
okay,
all time.
okay,
Whether he's above
or
Levante David or
below.
not,
Right, right. Okay.
that's debatable, but he's definitely top 10. So that's what, eight? Like, we named just eight players.
No, I feel like we just named 9 or 10. Gerald McCoy and Levante David.
Okay. 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 Yeah. Um I think there's
I'm
your
still
answer.
I'm still
I
kind
think
of
there's your
I'm still kind
answer,
of
man.
I'm still kind of about Tom. I get it. Tom Brady deserves to be there. I'm still it just doesn't. Uh,
No, I get it. You see him more as a patriot than you do a Buccaneer. I get that. Get that 100%, man. But um yeah, you got to
I
put
don't
him
know.
there.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know if there's a ring of honor going. If they have a ring of honor in Tampa
He's
Bay,
going
but
in there. He's going in the
yeah,
Ring of
for
Honor.
certain
Yeah.
next season.
Doug Martin, rest in peace. He played 6 seasons with the Buccaneers.
Okay, and then went to the
Um,
Raiders.
and then went to the Raiders after that. Yeah. And he had a couple of 1,400-yard seasons
Yeah,
in Tampa.
because
So
I
I
don't even know
mean,
if I would put him above Warwick Dunn, even though Warwick Dunn kind of made his stripes more so in Atlanta.
hmm
Uh, I don't know that I would put Doug Martin over Warwick Dunn in Tampa. But again, if we're just talking about 10, is Levante David top 10? Yeah, the answer is yes. The answer
Yeah.
is yes.
Yep. We got our answer. Yep.
Yeah,
Congrats on a great career, man.
for sure, for sure. WNBA agrees to their new collective bargain agreement. Look, man, there's nothing to do but applaud this. I don't
Big time.
know.
Big
Yeah, I
time
don't, cause
too.
right. Well, because for WNBA fans, you're not gonna experience any delays or stoppages or anything of that nature. There's more money being, these people are being paid more money. I didn't know how to gauge what would be a good deal as opposed
Hmm.
to a bad deal. I didn't know how to
Right.
gauge that.
Right.
But the new salary cap is up to $7 million from $1.5 million a year.
Yeah.
That right there,
That's a huge
that's
jump.
that's a extremely huge jump. The
That's a huge jump.
super max deals for WNBA players starts at 1.4 million. And
Hmm.
the average, I guess they're saying that the average salary
Hmm.
range is going to be somewhere in between 330 and $600,000 a year.
Yeah.
I don't know where it was, in the last CBA,
Yep.
but mainly for me, that big jump in that yearly salary cap is major. Again, I don't know. I know that's a big jump no matter what league you're in. A $6.5 million
Yeah.
leap is a big leap.
Yeah.
I think in any for per team. By the way, I think that's a big leap for anybody,
Yeah.
in any league. So congrats to the WNBA, to the players. The top girls are gonna see some better money. Everybody's gonna see some better money, and
Everybody will.
yeah, and so
Everybody will.
shout out to the WNBA and that union coming to an agreement.
They are in the middle of a renaissance, if that's what you want to call it. I mean, and really, it kind of started with the girls in college because
Yeah,
women's college basketball is really becoming a thing, and it has been for the past several seasons, and it's just kind of dwarfed over into the W. And I don't need to rattle off the names. Caitlin
yeah,
Clark's, the Angel Reeses. We know the Asia Wilsons. You know, the Sabrinas. You know all those girls getting sneaker deals, just to kind of add some excitement to this deal. Like, these girls are going to be susceptible to getting more outside deals, endorsements and things like that. So I just got to give it up to the Players Association, the W. Shout out Tink from last week, because she was like so not confident that they would get this deal done, and then hours overnight later, voila, here we are. We get the deal done and stuff. So
yeah,
congrats to everybody involved. The season will commence in May. Thankfully, I hope to get to a game at some point. Oh, speaking of which, and I don't know the date. I think it's May. I
okay,
think it's May. Mystics hosting the Liberty in May. But
sweet
I
yeah,
was hoping it was Cap One. I was hoping to be a Cap One, but it's
no,
it's 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 at the place in Southeast. So
yep. Yeah, well, I could have told
yeah,
you that.
yeah,
Sabrina ain't
that's
bringing them out like that, player.
yeah, that sucks. But hey, if I get a hold of some tickets, man, I think we should go.
For sure. And I'll check prices for. I'll check, for sure.
Yep, yep, no doubt, no
Yeah,
doubt.
yeah, man.
Um,
Congratulations to them for sure.
yeah, yep, absolutely, absolutely. To the NBA, shout out to LeBron James, passes Robert Parrish for most regular season games played, all time. We knew he was going to do that at
Yeah,
some point. We knew that. So congrats to LeBron on another accomplishment.
yeah,
But this kind of sparked a conversation I wanted to have, because the Lakers, right before they played the Pistons last night. The Pistons beat them, I think, by 3 points last night. Lakers were kind of rolling, 9-game win streak, number 3 seed in the Western Conference.
yeah.
A lot of conversation about, is this Laker team a really true, contender for a championship? And I gotta be honest, bro. Like, and I know it's the Lakers, so the Lakers are gonna get those conversations no matter what. But we had this conversation last season, right?
Yeah.
Like, weren't the Lakers kind of doing this around this time
Yeah.
last year? And look, they was playing well. Like, I ain't going, no hate or no shade or nothing like that, but they was playing well. And I mean, it got to the point where we almost got talked into, hey, maybe the Lakers could make a run. And what happened? Ant-Man happened. In first round of the playoffs, Ant-Man happened, took them out in 5 games. Do you think this Laker team is the third best team in the West? Because you got Houston right there. Houston's got their problems. We know that. You got the Nuggets, and you got the Timberwolves right there, which I think, for my money, I think the T Wolves are the third best team in the Western Conference.
So OKC, Spurs, and Minnesota.
For me, yes.
Okay.
For me, yeah. I mean,
Um.
you don't get the back-to-back Western Conference Finals and be disrespected like this. Like, they are close. They are close.
Well. Let's slow down a little bit. Not because I disagree.
Yeah,
For anybody who says the Timberwolves aren't the third best team in the league this season, um,
in the West.
in the West, I'm sorry.
Hmm.
I won't say I agree. I think I'm kind of leaning with you that they are the third best team in the West, but
Hmm.
they haven't per se played like it all year. They've
Agreed.
had they've
Agreed.
had some questionable spots and throughout certain phases of the season
Agreed.
and me, I have only been locked in for about a little over a month now.
Hmm.
But as you kind of look back, like they haven't been the most consistent for whatever reason
Yeah.
throughout the course of the season. So if somebody said the Rockets, which I wouldn't say,
Hmm.
if somebody said,
Denver.
if as a matter of fact, Denver is probably the only team that I would be willing to have a
Hmm.
conversation with about,
Hmm.
being the third best team. But really, if we're talking about rankings, it is where it stands, and really,
Yeah.
it's Thunder, Spurs, Minnesota. But if you look at the Spurs, just because they've been winning the head to head with the Thunder, I mean, if you were trying to convince me to have a hot take to say the Spurs are the best team in the league, you might be able to convince me to entertain that argument. But where it
Hmm.
stands right now,
Hmm.
I think Thunder, Spurs, Minnesota is the safest rankings 1 through 3.
Yeah. Yeah. That's kind of where I'm at. I feel like, because look, Minnesota, they finished sixth last year in the
Yeah,
West. I think the year before that they finished fifth. You know, so they're not the regular season team that's gonna go like all out to try to win 60 plus games and get the number one seed. I don't know that they're built that way. I think that team.
I reckon that that's their problem.
You think that's their problem?
I think as watching the Timberwolves in the past 2 years, as they've
Hmm.
been the hot team. Anthony Edwards, and Anthony
Hmm.
Edwards is a star. He's done um, great things in the playoffs.
Yeah.
But when I think about that last series last year, and it was just like, bruh, you are not going to the cup enough. You are shooting
Right.
jumpers way too
Right.
much, and it's like something got to happen for him for that trigger to turn on, as
Hmm.
opposed to him, coming into games and realizing, maybe more so playoff games and realizing like, yo, like this team is not going to win if I don't dominate.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
if my jumper is not falling, then I have to decide at some point before the third, fourth quarter that I gotta go get my points off the free throw line.
Yeah.
Um, skill wise, I guess what I'm saying is in the regular season, the Timberwolves take games off.
Yep.
That's what they do. That's
Yep.
that's
Hmm.
what they do. They
Yep.
take games off for whatever reason. They decide to take games off, and that's why they're regular season. Because if they played hard every single night, they would be right there with the like record wise. They'd be right there with the Thunder and the
So
Spurs.
the chances of having the home court advantage in the second round in the conference
Yeah,
finals, and
yeah.
maybe that is the difference maker, for this team. Yeah, I could see that point. But I also see your point in, hey, Ant Man, look, just go to the basket. Like you
Go
ain't gotta
to
be
the
at the
cup.
crib. You ain't gotta be at the crib to, be like,
Get
hey, I'm
free
gonna go to the
throws.
rack. You know what
Yeah,
I'm saying? Yeah,
because
like.
because because he's a big enough star
Mhm.
to where maybe in the beginning they'll fake on giving them calls, but if you continue to do it
Yeah.
and you're Anthony Edwards, you're going to start to get those calls. You're going to start to
Yeah.
get those
Right.
calls because what's going to start happening is that you're going to make a couple of them layups, and as soon as you do something phenomenal, that's when referees want to start giving you calls. When you start to do something phenomenal, you get fouled and you throw something over and it go in
Right.
and then that's when they want to be like, oh, okay, slim hooping. We
Mhm.
got we got to give them the calls.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I think that's what's happening with the Timberwolves. But I guess when you look at them when they playing that maximum effort and all those types of things, the Timberwolves are right there with the Spurs and the Thunder. I think they're right there. Number three is safe. I think number three is
Yeah.
safe.
And my mistake, they were the 3 seed the year they upset Denver
Upset Denver.
a
Yep.
couple years ago. They were the 3
Yep.
seed, not the
Yep.
5. Dallas was the 5
5. Mm-hmm.
that year.
Yep.
So I agree. I think
But this is
he
on Ant
has to.
Man.
Yeah, he has to assert himself a whole lot more, these playoffs. I just don't know that the home court advantage is the thing that's going to, go off in his head. Hey, I need to step it up a bit. Like, nah, bro, like it don't matter, home or road. Like y'all, like one thing y'all proven, y'all can beat teams on the road in the playoffs. Y'all can do that. You know what I'm saying?
Anthony Edwards
Do
needs
it
his
again.
true. Anthony Edwards needs his true MVP year.
Hmm.
That's what he needs. He needs his true MVP year. And when he's playing that way, that MVP year where he's averaging 30 and averaging 30 and 7, 8 boards and
Hmm.
hell throwing 4 assists. You know what I'm
Hmm.
saying? Um, when he's at that level, playing at that level, regular season, going into the playoffs, and
Yeah.
kind of continuing that. He needs that type of an MVP year because I promise you, if that is clicking, everything
Hmm.
else is going to click for the rest of that team. Nas Reed is going, them that's going to step up for
Yeah.
on his
Jaden
side. Like
McDaniels.
exactly,
He's
like
had some 30-point games
yeah,
as of recent. So yeah. Yeah.
yeah. But
And
this,
and
but this is on him.
oh, for sure. They're
Yeah,
definitely for sure. And keep in mind, they switched big men in between their Western Conference Finals appearances. Like,
right.
they went the first year with Cat and then last year with Julius. So, and
Mm-hmm.
Julius, that's the guy that's really got to, continue
Yeah,
what he
yeah,
did last year in the playoffs, because that
yeah,
was the first time we saw like playoff Julius. Like, that's the
yeah.
first time we seen that. So he's got to continue that for sure. But back to the Lakers, it just feels like another hype thing with the
Yeah, I
Lakers,
mean,
man.
look,
It,
LeBron James is still on the Lakers, and as long as LeBron James is on the Lakers and they're not complete trash, then you got to look at them like playoff, good playoff team. You got to
but I'm
look at
looking
them
at
that
Luke,
way.
but I'm looking at Luca as the
Who's
dude.
balling? Who's balling right now?
Yeah, yeah. Like, they're running everything through him right now. And I
Yeah,
mean, you can
which
argue,
good.
right? And you can argue Austin Reeves is the second option on that team right now. The
Hmm.
way they've been playing.
Yeah, and you're right, but that's only because LeBron chilling. For whatever reason, LeBron chilling. You know what I'm saying? Like if
Age.
he's yeah, but yeah, age. You're right, age. Let's be very clear and honest, age.
Yep.
But I don't think for a second that when playoff time come and he decide, hey, time to mount up, regulators mount up. Like
Sure.
Slim going, like you telling me that LeBron
He
James
he
can't
got one
average
more in
20.
him.
Well, I ain't talking about championship, but I'm. Can he have another run of 25,
Yeah.
7, and 8 in the playoffs?
Can they win a
100%.
series? Can they win a series? Like that's really what we're
Yeah.
talking about.
Well, I'm just talking about LeBron James being LeBron James, meaning
Mhm.
last year he was
Mhm.
still averaging 20, 25, 7, 8, or somewhere in that proximity. So
Yeah.
it's like you telling me I don't believe that he fell off that much between last year and this year. I could be
Yeah.
wrong, but I don't believe so. I haven't watched enough LeBron this year, but
Yeah, I don't think he's the gap is not big, but
yeah,
I
I think
think
he's
the
just chilling.
production, yeah, the production definitely has slipped a bit for whatever case it may be, health, age, or he just chilling like you said. The production has certainly slipped. Can they beat the Rockets in a 7-game series? Yeah. I think the Lakers can beat
Yeah,
the Rockets in a 7-game series.
yeah,
Can they beat the Nuggets in a 7-game series?
no,
I think that's questionable just because I've watched Denver for about a few weeks now, and their defense is just not as good as it once was in the past. And the
okay,
Lakers, one thing they could do is they can score. The
okay,
Lakers can definitely score. So I think that is a 7-game series. Um, I don't think they beat Minnesota
mm-mm,
in a series again this year.
mm-mm.
And Spurs, Thunder, forget about it.
Yeah, right.
I know there's I know people are hoping for a second round Spurs Lakers matchup, but I think I know how that's going to
Yeah,
end unless unless the inexperience of the Spurs shows up.
sure, and I guess, but I ain't gonna hold you.
Other than that, they
I
got a
ain't gonna hold
unicorn.
you.
They got a
They
unicorn, bro.
they spanking the Lakers. I ain't even gonna hold you. And I ain't saying this, and I don't mean spanking them like it's gonna be a
In
five
five?
game series. No, I'm not going that far.
All right, all right.
I'm just saying that it'll be a 6 game decisive victory for the Spurs.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I feel you. Kevin Durant passes Jordan on the all-time scoring list. So congrats to
Yep,
KD.
number
Now he's
five.
number 5, right?
Yep, number 5.
Yep.
How many years?
Mm-hmm.
How many years do we got left? Or are we still look? Our era, Jordan is the best, and obviously we hear the know LeBron is the best. That we hear
Yep.
that now.
Mm-hmm.
I thought about this, but not because I think KD is better than Jordan. Like, no, let's not be ridiculous here. But
Yeah, yeah.
as people start to pass Jordan in the all
Mm-hmm.
time scoring list,
Mm-hmm.
um, how long does the legacy? How long before he becomes, Wilt Chamberlain?
Which is crazy because Wilt is number 8 on this
Yeah.
list.
Well, I say that to say is that there was one point when Wilt Chamberlain was the best player in the league, and
Yep.
Jordan who, or the Kobe conversation when Kobe, you know what I'm saying, and now
Yeah.
Kobe's kind of like it's an age thing. I get it, but I
Mm-hmm.
think I think if you had to poll the world, or
Yeah.
the United States, let's say,
Mm-hmm.
I think Jordan would still come out of it in 2026. We would still come out of it. If you poll the entire nation, Jordan would still be the best player in the league per poll.
Yeah,
Look,
I
look,
think so. I mean, our kids are even kind of mentioning Jordan, and they haven't even
yeah,
seen
it
Jordan
hadn't really
play like
even
that.
seen it right. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
So,
yeah,
so I guess I wonder how much longer before Jordan is like unequivocally not the best player, but when he loses that poll. How long do we got before he loses that poll in your mind?
it might be another couple decades, to be
You
honest
think it's
with
gonna be
you.
another 20 years?
Yeah, it really might
I
be. I mean, I'm looking
I
at this
could.
list. I'm looking at this list, the top 10 here. Because Dirk is on this list, and
Yeah.
Wilt, Shaq, and then you got James Harden there, number 9. Um, James Harden's at 29,160. Jordan's at 32,292. So James Harden plays another 3 seasons. He would surpass Jordan in terms
Mm-hmm.
of scoring.
Yep.
Um, I don't know about the other guys. I don't have 11 through whatever, but
Right.
um yeah, I feel like because of the it's because of the legacy. It's the Nike legacy. It's the sneakers. It's the Air Jordans. It's still a thing, man. Like
Yeah.
it's still a thing after 30 years.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. 20 years is a lot. I'm wondering. I'm
Mhm.
wondering if in
You was gonna
10
say what? A
years.
decade? You was gonna say 10
I'm
years?
wondering, and really, I'm
Mm-hmm.
wondering if in like 5 to 7 years,
Mm.
when LeBron retires, LeBron is retired, and we didn't had an opportunity to kind of process the full scope of his career.
Yeah.
Obviously, he got majority of the records, majority of all major statistical categories,
Mm-hmm.
games played, points. Like he's there.
Yeah.
Um, uh, 20 years of averaging 25 and 7 and 8 or 8 and 7.
Mm-hmm.
Um, like I don't know.
I
I
mean,
don't
folks
know.
are folks are trying to preserve MJ's legacy though.
I
Like
but I wonder if it's us, 40 and up that are
that's trying to preserve it.
that's still pushing the flag. I mean, because when I think about folks, me and you 40, when I think about people, under us, is
Hmm.
them holding up the Kobe flag, and then people under them that are holding up the
The
LeBron
LeBron.
flag. And
Hmm.
and it might not even be a 10-year difference. It might be a 5-year difference between a Kobe stand and then 5 years between a LeBron stand.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So that's why I'm thinking. I'm not thinking in sense of 10 years. I'm thinking like a sense of maybe 5 years that people might really start saying
Hmm.
LeBron is better than Jordan, and if the proverbial poll happened that if we could vote around the world, like we would maybe get percentages swing towards LeBron James being the best player in NBA history.
Hmm. Yeah. I think LeBron winning another championship, I think, reinvigorates that conversation.
Well, he ain't winning another championship, so you ain't even got to worry about
Sure,
that.
sure. But I'm just making the point that
Sure.
if he does, then these conversations are going to come up again. But I'm with you. I don't think he's going to ever get to another NBA Finals. So, his legacy is his legacy at this
Right.
point.
Right.
It's funny because we were talking Chris Paul a few months ago, on his retirement and stuff, and somebody said on Twitter that when they nixed the trade from New Orleans to the
The
Lakers,
Lakers, yeah.
somebody said that the conspiracy theory is that they didn't want Kobe to get, ring
A
number
point.
6, even though,
Mm.
well, yeah, I guess at that time it would have been
Yeah.
him, going for number 6 there.
Yeah. Yeah.
That some people are saying that that's the conspiracy as to why the league vetoed the trade from New Orleans to the Lakers,
Hmm.
because that team would have been, I mean, that team would have been
I've been a
stacked,
hell of a
man.
team. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Been a hell of a
yeah,
team.
for sure, for sure. So,
Yeah. I don't know, but all that to say,
mhm.
congrats to Kevin Durant, man. I mean, I guess and you obviously Kevin Durant, one of my favorite players of all time, obviously, but it was just, but obviously not was never maybe his MVP year was the closest he was considered to being one of the best in the league for a year
Mhm.
but there was never really a time where he was able to get over that LeBron hill.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But with scoring being the way it is, he was able to pass Jordan.
Mhm.
In all-time scoring. Like I said, obviously scoring was way different when Jordan played. I mean, it was good luck getting past 100 points in the Jordan era if you played a good defense. You know what I'm saying? We were still
Mhm.
talking about 99, 87 games, and now that is an abomination in the eyes of today's NBA. So I
Yeah.
understand things are different. But the idea of Kevin Durant passing and Michael Jordan in scoring is it definitely left me room to have a thought like, man, like Jordan, because all we do is look at records at the end of the day.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Like there's going to be a time where a kid 5, 7, 10 years now is going to look at a stat list and see Kevin Durant and see Michael Jordan, and because Kevin Durant scored more points without any context, come out of his
Right.
mouth and say something disrespectful like Kevin Durant was a better basketball player.
Right. Right. Now, and I guess maybe in fairness is the wrong term, but looking at the top of that scoring list, you still got Karl Malone
Right.
at number 3, and we're almost 30 years removed from ever seeing Karl Malone on the floor.
Yeah, but
You
I
know what I'm
think the
saying?
major difference, I think the difference between a Kevin Durant and a Karl Malone is that Kevin Durant game was exciting.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
that,
You know what
that's
I'm
true.
saying? Like,
That's
Karl
true.
Malone, had one of the best point guards in the league, just pick and roll,
Yep.
in a late late in his career, pick, throw it to him in the post. He throw a fade away and he out the door. Like Karl
Yeah.
Malone's mid game was perfect. I mean, maybe the only person who had a better mid game at that position was Tim Duncan.
Right.
You know what I'm
Right.
saying? So, that's I think that's a different conversation because Kevin Durant has highlights. I
hmm
ain't never seen a Karl Malone highlight reel pop up on my timeline just because his game wasn't exciting. Not because he wasn't getting the points. His
Right.
game wasn't exciting.
Yeah. No, I can see that.
Yeah,
I can see that. And look, I mean, I watched plenty of Jazz games as a kid.
yeah, yeah,
That was our thing. Watching the NBA. But yeah, I think you're right. I just think it's not enough. There's not enough sizzle in his
yeah,
game to really kind of warrant the conversation.
yeah, yeah.
This just came up on my phone. Dennis Rodman to be inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame.
Congratulations, man. I don't pretend to know anything about Dennis Rodman's WWE career. I'm congratulations though, bro.
I have
Like
no
you did that.
clue. I'm trying. Look, as a non wrestling fan myself, I am trying to remember if I ever pictured Dennis Rodman at a WWE
I mean,
event.
I know he's done it before. I know he's
Okay,
done it before. I mean, he might have done it back in the '90s. I know he's done
that's
it
what I was
before.
thinking. That's what I was
Yeah,
thinking. Yeah.
yeah, I know he's done it before. Certainly whenever it happened, I was out of the wrestling game. Like I remember like the last couple of wrestlers I remember when I was, and I was never super heavy into it, but when I was younger, I
hmm
remember Razor Ramon, Yokozuna, Gold Dust. I think Kane was just becoming a new thing.
Yeah.
Like by the time like Stone Cold Steve Austin and The Rock was in wrestling, I was out. So
hmm
um, but I can vaguely remember Dennis Rodman having some moments in the WWE. It might have been back when it was the WWF.
Right.
You know what I'm
Right.
saying? I can remember. I can recall that slightly, but shout out to him. I don't pretend to know anything about that.
Yeah. No, shout out to him. I mean, I just wonder what that commentary looks like amongst
Hey,
true wrestling fans.
does it matter? I does. Yeah, shout out to him, man. Shout out
Yeah,
to him.
nah, look, nah, get your shine on, man. Get your shine on, bro. Um, Prayers out to Kate Cunningham.
Yeah.
Was found to have a collapsed lung and is gonna miss some time. Probably will be back, I'd say, a little before the playoffs, maybe a little after the playoffs start, is what I'm thinking. I,
Okay.
I thought about this. I wanted to ask you, and it was just recently. TJ
TJ
Watt
Watt.
had a collapsed lung. Also,
Three
that
weeks.
was what, 3 weeks?
3 weeks. Yeah.
That was 3 weeks. Okay,
Yeah.
okay, yeah. So I would think Cade will come back at some point before the playoffs start to get revved up.
So I guess my question, because where did Detroit is one still, or
Yeah, they still
yeah.
the number one seed. Yeah.
So in 3 weeks without Kate Cunningham, how far do they fall with the way Boston playing right now?
I gotta be honest with you. I don't think they're gonna fall really.
How far are they ahead? Are they ahead by that many?
Well, let's pull up the stats and maybe I'm basing it off of the Lakers, win. I mean them beating the Lakers last night
Yeah, without Kate. Yeah.
without Cade. And they've won a couple without him too. So
Okay.
I wouldn't, regular seasons, teams without their superstar, they find a way to generally get it done. They are up 5 games on the Boston Celtics. They are up 5.5 on my Knicks.
Mm-hmm.
Knicks are on a 6-game win streak.
Yeah.
Boston just lost the other day to Minnesota, but they've won what 6 out of their last 10.
10. Yeah.
And how many games left in the season? About 10
10
left.
roughly.
Yeah, roughly 10 games left. Um, I think Detroit could pull this out. What's their schedule look like? I mean, you got teams tanking all over the place. Okay, Atlanta, New Orleans, Minnesota, OKC, Toronto, Minnesota again, Sixers, Magic, Milwaukee,
Okay.
Charlotte, Indy. Like they should be able to finish number one, I think.
Hmm. Okay.
Their
I mean,
toughest their toughest games is the
two
2 Minnesota
Minnesotas.
games and OKC.
Okay. See. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But yeah, everybody else, I mean, they should be able to, handle. I mean, I could see a loss to maybe like a Atlanta or a Magic,
I mean,
because they're,
Atlanta. I was about to say Atlanta on like a 10-game win streak right now.
something like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, something like that. They pushed themselves into that top 6. Um yeah, no, I think Detroit finishes first, but I was thinking about, God forbid, they get into a series in the first round without Kate Cunningham, and you got some teams in that bottom. And Da talked about Charlotte, when he was on with us a couple weeks ago. The Hawks you just mentioned, win streak. If they're without Cade in the first round, depending on that matchup, they very well could be ripe for a knockout.
Well,
They could
I
very
ain't.
well be ripe.
You made it sound like I was speaking disrespectfully when I was trying to allude to it in my first week of watching it when my season started.
Hmm.
I felt like they was ripe back then in
with
February
with Cade,
with
and what?
Cade.
Okay, okay.
It's a
You
seven
definitely
game
seen the
series.
problem. You definitely, like, if you've watched their losses, you definitely see it being a problem without having the secondary guy
Yeah,
on a consistent basis. You definitely
yeah.
see it. You definitely see it for sure. But
And
me
I'm not quite.
personally,
I'm not. And them being ripe doesn't mean that they're going to lose.
right.
But Charlotte versus Detroit. Am I like 100% convinced that Detroit going to get out of there scot free? No, not at
Hmm.
all. With
Yeah,
Kate Cunningham, not
I
at
mean, yeah,
all.
I mean, look, the Sixers, if those guys get back healthy, you could argue they could beat the Pistons without Cade. You can argue that if
Paul
it's
George said. Paul George on it talking about he's learned so much. You know, amongst this 25 game suspension, he ready to come back and and will his team and all the positive things. Like, yeah,
Hmm.
I'm not 100%
The
sure that
Heat,
the Detroit Pistons are ready to take care of the lesser than team, quote unquote.
the
Um,
Heat, like we
yeah,
know what Eric Spoelstra, you always got to factor that in with him.
yeah, I'm not here ready to say the Pistons lose the first round. Let me watch them for another couple of weeks.
Hmm.
But they ain't necessarily they ain't coming out that series unscathed, win or lose.
Hmm.
Especially if Cade not there.
Right. Oh, if Cade's not there, I mean, I, the only team I could see them beating would be Atlanta.
Hmm.
I think that's the only team I could see him beating without Cade. I
Right.
think everybody else, I think, gets them. Even the Magic. If the Magic end up 8, I think the Magic get them.
Mm. Interesting.
Yeah, I think the
Okay.
Magic gets them. So yeah, I mean, we'll definitely see, man.
For sure.
We'll see. Um, I just saw something pop up. Oh, you I want to get into something a little messy here. So, have you seen this this thing with Jason Whitlock and um being on Cam Newton's podcast?
Mm-mm.
All right, so And for the record, I didn't watch the episode. I just saw a clip of Jason Whitlock on Cam Newton's podcast,
Okay.
and Jason Whitlock is just kind of going in on Stephen A. Smith, right? Talking
Okay.
about how everything he's done is a lie, and just I mean, basically, like they got like there's real beef, like
Yeah, no, I
between
remember when I mean he called Stephen A. Smith called him a bitch
yeah,
on the podcast.
right. Like there's real beef there,
Yeah.
and to be honest with
And
you, I
okay, hold on, time out before you
yep,
go. I
yeah,
just want to define they have a issue with each other. Beef is when you need two guys to go to sleep. They have a they have it. They don't like each other.
yeah.
I don't think nobody's squaring up. You know what I'm saying? Both of them men is
Nah,
well over
nah,
60. You know what I'm saying? Let's just.
nah.
I want to try to frame this right because from what I gather, they
Hmm.
really do have an issue. But
Yeah, they do.
I don't want to call it beef though. You know what I'm saying?
No,
Like
they do.
yeah,
But I mean, but a lot of people in the
old nigga beef
industry,
maybe.
well, I think you can believe it, have an issue with Jason Whitlock.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, so Ryan Clark tweets out just a few hours ago and says, if someone shows you love, has you on their show twice a week at least, you don't bring his known enemy on your show and allow your guests to talk shit about that person. That's not G at all.
Mm.
Loyalty is at a minimum
Mm.
these days.
Mm.
So I'm like, and look, I thought about it even before I saw, Ryan's tweet, because when I saw the clip, I'm like, why is Cam like
Well,
entertaining this? Like, what?
well, I'm and let me be clear. I disagree with Ryan Clark. This is show business.
Mhm.
This is show business, and Cam Newton and Jason Whitlock have had exchanges. So and I haven't seen the show, but it's
You
probably
mean before this interview thing? You mean before
right.
he got
Cam
okay?
Newton and Jason Whitlock have had exchanges.
I
So
didn't know
it
that.
has,
Okay,
yeah, right. So it has absolutely nothing to do with Stephen A, even though he went on there and tried to air Stephen A out,
yeah,
to your report. But they've had exchanges, and they're trying to, I'm assuming that they're trying to kind of come to a resolve of their issues. But
because
I'd have
Cam
to
and Whitlock have
have
their
had
own
online
personal
exchange exactly have had
stuff.
online exchanges right
Got you. Okay,
that's what I'm thinking
got you.
yeah
Okay,
that's what I'm thinking because hell I think Cam Newton was trying to have Gilly on his show when they were having issues they
right,
online
right,
issues on
right, right. And I kind of see that different. You know what I mean? Than this thing
Yeah,
with
because that Gilly Cam shit was nigga shit. Like it wasn't real.
yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
right,
They
right.
had a disagreement about sports and you shouldn't call no man a bitch unless you really mean it. You know what I'm saying? That
Yeah,
type of thing.
right,
But
right. But I think more importantly to this conversation, there's no mutual enemy amongst Cam and Gilly. Like
yeah.
there is a mutual enemy with this Whitlock and Cam thing. Cam has been doing first take with Stephen A, throughout the football season. You know, Jason Whitlock is an enemy of Stephen A. Smith.
Yeah,
Um,
but again,
I would like to hope, and I pray
sure.
that we see Cam Newton and Stephen A in the same spaces, once football season commences and all that stuff. I hope that he told Stephen A, hey, Whitlock's coming on. He's just gonna talk, for a few minutes, whatever, and we're just gonna do that thing, whatever. And then Stephen A was probably like, whatever, do your thing, it's your
I don't give
platform,
a
that kind of a
yeah. I
thing.
don't because yeah. I
You know,
can't fathom that Stephen A really cared unless Jason Whitlock said some egregious
mhm.
shit about him, like
Yeah.
something egregious.
I'm just wondering, did Cam expect Whitlock to go in like that? I'm
I
I'm just
can't.
I'm just wondering,
I
you
can't
know.
imagine that he even. I'm sure the thought crossed his mind because it ain't just Cam Newton. You know what I'm saying? It ain't just Cam Newton. It's a room full of producers and and people who get paid money to see
Mhm.
this type of shit before it happens. Even if it don't happen or even if it does happen, you have to at least think about what it would look like if it happened. I can't
Yeah.
believe knowing that nobody in that room is oblivious to the fact that Jason Whitlock has an issue with Stephen A. Smith. Nobody
Mm-hmm.
is oblivious to the fact that to my understanding or to my recollection, Jason Whitlock has not been on any black shows since Stephen A. called him a bitch until this show. So this is
Mm-hmm.
Jason Whitlock's first opportunity to have a conversation addressing Stephen A. Smith amongst our people.
Ah, I see.
To my recollection. Now, if
Mm-hmm.
something else happened differently, I don't know. But
Mm-hmm.
it ain't no way in hell that they did that not knowing that he was going to come on here and have something to say about Stephen A. Smith. I would even go further to say
Mm-hmm.
Cam Newton went on that show and said, "Hey, man, what's the beef between you and Stephen A. Smith?" Or some variation of that question.
Mm-hmm. Maybe.
I am I am
Maybe.
I am 100% sure that
Maybe.
some variation of Stephen A. Smith was brought up by Cam Newton.
Maybe.
I am sure of it. Man, I can't be much more sure of anything than that right there.
Yeah. Or it could be Cam got blindsided by his commentary and
Uh,
just decided, hey, I'm just gonna have to roll with it a certain
sure.
way and kind of, pivot it that way. I mean,
But he don't though. That's the other part. He don't. He could just edit it out. He don't.
sure, he certainly could do that. People just got an issue with Whitlock, and
Well, right,
Stephen,
reasonably so though.
yeah, yeah, for sure. No, I'm just saying. I guess the point I'm trying to make is it wouldn't shock me if this was something Whitlock thought about while he was on the platform and decided, you know what, I'm just gonna air this dude out right here on the platform. Wouldn't surprise me based
Oh,
on the
one hundred
things that
percent.
people have said about this dude. Like Stephen A. was saying how he slid a recorder under a hotel
Oh
room
shit.
door to listen to a Allen Iverson conversation that Iverson was having with somebody. Like, yeah, like I'm like, I'm like, damn, like, yeah, this is why niggas really hate this dude, or part of the reason why niggas hate
I
this
don't
dude.
even think that's the most egregious thing that Jason Whitlock has ever said. And
Oh, of course, of
yeah,
course, of course.
and to take it a step further, I don't
Hmm.
want to go down a rabbit hole. I wouldn't be surprised if Stephen A. has done stuff like that before.
Mm, mm.
I wouldn't be surprised. We talking about 2001 when
2001. Hmm.
obviously we don't know what year that Jason Whitlock is referring to, but I'm just saying in that area
Hmm.
when in that time when AI was AI and Stephen A.
Yep.
was working in Philly and you
Hmm.
know he says and Stephen A. will tell you all the time in any interview he's on, I know things and I
Right.
find out, what I'm saying? Well, how do you get that information? All of it is hearsay, or do you have concrete evidence? And
Hmm.
how do you get concrete evidence if you ain't there?
Hmm.
Like
Good
there's,
point. Good
I'm
point.
not accusing him of anything. I'm just saying I'm not surprised. I wouldn't be
You would
surprised
say you're not surprised if that's
if
the case.
Jason
Yeah, I
if
got you.
if,
I
if
got you.
Jason Whitlock was telling the truth about that particular thing.
Hmm.
I wouldn't be surprised by that at all. I mean, is it unethical? Yeah, probably. But
Yeah.
I believe people do unethical things to get ahead. And Stephen A.
Hmm.
is the best in the game right now. Says the money and all that. He's the best in smoking right now. How do
Yep.
you get there? It all ain't. It. I don't believe it's all ethical.
Yeah, that's true. That's
Yeah.
certainly true. It's not. Yeah, it's. I agree with you. It's not the worst thing Whitlock probably has ever done. But that in itself, I mean, you taking, you recording somebody's
That's
conversation without
unethical.
their consent. That's not right.
Yeah, but
Hmm.
I'm not in that world.
Hmm.
I don't. But if Stephen A. did it, then it was something that people did. So I'm
Hmm.
not saying he did something, and I'm not saying it's okay either way. I'm just saying
Yeah.
that I believe people would do anything to get a story in that field.
Yeah.
And if you don't get caught, then you got the information
Hmm.
and you got
Yeah.
a story before anybody else.
Yeah. I'm a. Yeah.
I'm gonna try to watch it.
I'm gonna try to check out a little bit of the episode and see, like, a little bit more context on this thing, because yeah, that's real crazy, bro. That's crazy. I mean, I partly agree with Ryan in a sense, but I still got to watch
I
the
mean,
episode.
yeah, but look, I get where Ryan Clark is coming from, but
Hmm.
this show business, man. Like,
Mm.
ain't nobody, like, I guess it would probably, maybe it would be like that's your man's, meaning Cam Newton and Stephen A. If they men's like that, and look, just because somebody invites you to their show don't mean y'all partners. Let's
Hmm.
be clear about that.
Yeah.
And yes, Stephen A. was looking out for Cam Newton by putting him on his platform, but that don't mean y'all partners. That means he did you a favor. So the best thing would maybe to do would be like, hey, Stephen A., I got Jason. I'm not asking for your permission to have Jason Whitlock on my show. What I
Yeah.
am telling you is that he said some shit about you. So just so you know, he did air that ass out. That
Uh-huh.
type of thing. Like
Yeah.
maybe he
Yeah.
owes that to Stephen A., but that's it. He don't owe nothing
Hmm.
else to Stephen A. Cam Newton do, and like it ain't
Sure.
because that it's show business, dog. It just is. It's show business.
Yeah, I get it. Totally get it. Breaking news. This is what I wanted to get to.
Yeah.
The North Carolina Tar Heels have fired Hubert Davis. So he will no longer be coaching the Tar Heels.
Didn't they just lose the other day?
Lose. Niggas blew it.
Yeah.
Them niggas blew a 19-point lead, bro.
Man.
Niggas blew a 19-point lead. Got it. I think that was an overtime game, and they couldn't close the game out, man.
Yeah.
Look, you can only say that you got a white wife so far in life. When when you have
What?
this.
What?
You don't remember that? You don't remember when Hubert Davis came out in that presser and said, "Hey, something about my wife is white and something like that. I appreciate
No.
this job and stuff." Yeah, you don't remember that?
No.
Oh, dude, you gotta look that story back up, man.
Yeah.
Um, you gotta look that back up because I'm like, niggas wasn't asking you about your wife, man. Like we
Dang.
don't care. We don't care about that, but you can
Shout out to
only
Hubert Davis.
but you can only say that for so long because when you ain't producing, these are the things that's gonna happen, man. They
Yeah.
gonna get you up out of there.
Yeah.
So, but I heard Stephen A. say the other day that he would vouch for Kenny Smith to be the head coach of the Tar Heels
I wouldn't be mad at
alumni.
that either. I wouldn't be mad at
I
that either.
wouldn't I wouldn't be mad at that
At
either.
all. At all.
That'd be a good look if he
Seem
wants
it
if he
seemed
wants the job.
Well, yeah, because it seemed like ESPN ain't really giving them a whole lot of airtime or a whole lot of airtime no way. So he could probably
Uh-huh.
coach and then still show up and do the inside the
Hmm.
NBA.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, even Barkley was complaining about not getting enough
Yeah,
time.
yeah.
But yeah, I'll be honest with
I
you.
won't stretch this show.
Yeah, go ahead.
I promise. But does it feel like
Hmm.
that ESPN is doing that to that show because of the shit that they used to talk about ESPN when they was on TNT?
Of course. Of
Like,
course.
I was just
Of course.
every few months or so, I like to go on YouTube and watch
Hmm.
greatest inside the NBA moments, and with
Yeah.
Charles, and that video always showed up where Charles Barkley be like, "Man, I would never work for them motherfuckers. They had me working on ESPN 8, ESPN Ocho." I was like, and they used to
Hmm.
the way they used to shit on ESPN on TNT. It's so
Yeah.
funny that they are now working at ESPN, and I honestly thought that ESPN. I never in my wildest dreams thought that
Hmm.
ESPN would be suppressing one of the best nighttime shows ever behind some ego or some jokes, but it certainly feels that way.
I believe it.
Yeah,
I believe it. Because think about it. Not only can you get your back, right? But you can suppress the conversations they have. Like
yep,
they can't really go in like they could
yeah,
on TNT. TNT's cable, ABC, that's network, broadcast network. That's FCC, all that stuff, they got a little more
It's
control
crazy to
over
me that
those
they
networks.
still think that Sports Center is a better show than Inside the NBA. If I was bringing Inside the NBA to ESPN, whatever
Hmm.
night the NBA is on ESPN,
Yeah,
they rocket it to 1 a.m. like they did on TNT. Like, why mess
yeah.
up that format?
Why mess it up? Right, right. And then whenever the games is on ABC, like on a Saturday night, because the news got to get their stuff in. And
Yeah,
so I've been noticing the past couple of Saturdays when they've had their post game on the back end of the games that their post games is like 20 minutes, man.
that's
That's
crazy.
not enough.
That's
That's
crazy.
that's that's not enough. So yeah, ESPN is definitely suppressing their time, what they can do. I mean, everything. I mean, they bought it out just so they can, have the control over
Damn,
what that show does.
they really
Unfortunately,
didn't. They really didn't have anywhere else to go but the ESPN. That
I mean,
show,
yeah,
that show, they really had nowhere else to go.
yeah. I mean, I ain't gonna hold you, but I'm warming up to the Prime cast.
Yeah,
Like I like John Wall. Like whenever John Wall comes on there and talks ball, like that's always a plus for me. Cause
oh, shout out to John Wall. He was in the city the other day.
yeah, he was.
Yeah, yeah.
Some charity event and
Yeah, he was
stuff.
down there. He was down by the Mystic Stadium. Not for nothing.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, matter of fact, I think I saw Karita. Shout out to Karita. I think was at the event also and
Yeah,
interviewed him on
Sycamore.
some
Yeah,
stuff too. Yeah,
museum.
yeah.
Shout out to the museum. They put out some John Wall hoodies the other day. So
Nice.
yeah,
Nice. Good stuff, man. Yeah, he stay connected with the city. I like that.
yeah,
I
yeah.
like that kind of stuff. But the Amazon broadcast, I'm really warming up to like their post game and really the production of their games too. Like
Hmm.
it's flawless to me. Like it's like it took place of TNT. And if there was one place that show could have went, it could have went to Prime.
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
Prime, you could do all kinds of stuff. To be honest with you,
Right.
and yeah, you could let looser more than you could on TNT,
right.
which
Or
is
maybe
great.
the bag
And
wasn't big enough. Maybe the
I
bag wasn't.
guess, I
Yeah, maybe the
guess,
bag wasn't.
because
One thing ESPN could pay you was the bag.
that's true. That's true. Because it reminded me. So back to Prime. So how the NFL does they pregame stuff. One day they had Marshawn on there, and that dude was cussing up a storm
Yeah,
on the broadcast. I mean, they
yeah,
bleeped it out and
yeah,
stuff, which I wish they didn't do because they're Prime. But that man was just out there just letting it loose, man.
yeah. Nah. Hey man, let's get up out of here, man.
Let's get up on out of here, man. Appreciate everybody tuning in. Continue to follow us on the YouTube channel. Click the subscribe button. Let a friend know. Also, click the like button on the Facebook page. Follow us on Instagram at Barbershop Sports Talk Podcast. Also, follow us on Twitter at Barbershop SPOR2. Check us out on Twitch as well. If you got questions, comments, hit us up on the email at barbershopsportstalk1 at gmail.com. Side note, no show next week. We're going to reconvene the week after. Playoffs, it's going to start to heat up. So we're going to get into a little bit of that. And who knows what else is coming up after that. So
Who knows, man?
who knows? I mean, NFL draft is not too far either. So there'll be some conversations about that, I'm sure. Love, peace, and happiness to everybody out there. And as always, folks, mind your damn business.
Drink some water.
Oh yeah, we got him. Trey, Frazier, and Maestro styles, you know we got one. Right back like we left something. We don't duck smoke, we want all of it. So line them up, Trey shot with the blade, you know we sizing it up. I'm quick to catch the fade, you know Styles making the cut. Cause we coming out clean every time that we showing up.
It's gonna be called The Barbershop.